you said in the beginning you're doing machine learning. I guess that's even heavier math, right? Like for me, like I'm not an expert at all when it comes to machine learning, but it feels like that's a word or a field of programming that's become really fashionable, right? But like, what is it really like? What is the machine learning doing in a sound audio environment? Like, what are you working on, for example?
Yeah, so I'm working on trying to work out if something called neural architecture search, which was kind of pioneered by one of the sub departments of Google, whether it can find new novel architectures for creating models of analog gear. So let's say you have an 1176 compressor. Can it make a model of that that's better than the ones that we currently have? But machine learning sounds more intimidating than it is, and it sounds more mathematical than it is.
Right.
And you know, if we oversimplify it a little bit and consider it like machine learning is like continued trial and error, but because computers can do it so much faster than we can, they can end up with models through that trial and error and constantly updating its model and going, well, how close was I, and trying to
Mm.
find that global minima where the amount of error compared to the actual device is at its minimal. So yeah, machine learning really in the context of how I'm using it, because there's obviously other areas and other types of models and things you can be doing with it, and obviously how that extends to kind of the parent category of artificial intelligence in general.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just like to think of it in this context as like repeated trial and error. And when you approach it like that, then it seems a lot less daunting. And
Yeah.
with the signal processing stuff that I've done, a lot of the equations and formulas felt quite familiar quite quickly.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, obviously it's very technical, but it's not unapproachable if you've kind of done a base level of study. And there's a really good course on Coursera. Uh, that's on machine learning in MATLAB. That's very, very good, and
Right.
it's deep enough in the theory to really feel like you're understanding what's going on, but not so complex that you lose yourself in it. So yeah, that was
Right.
been a big part of the last few months, is going through that, and also an edX course in Python to kind of brush up on that side as well.
Right. Awesome, man. Are you familiar with I think I'm pronouncing his name correct. I guess it's Gil Weinberg. He's machine learning at Google. He did that like I mean he's done a few actually, like a few robots, like really cool robots who I guess it's machine learning. I guess AI also, but like he has made robots who can play with people. So
Yeah,
they're able to listen, and do their math, and they're able to play with a human.
yeah,
And then he made like this prototype for a drummer who lost his arm.
yeah.
They were able to help him and build some really cool robot that made him play drums, like feeling like it was a hand again.
Yeah.
So we were talking about getting him on the podcast also, but I just wonder if you're familiar with him because he
I'm
seems to be
not, but
doing.
I'd love to, know more about him. So if you've got any links for me, I'd love to check it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll send you some stuff, man. It looks really cool actually.
Yeah,
Um, but so because I did like a tiny, tiny bit of a course on machine learning, and you see from my knowledge from doing that tiny bit of work, it seems to be a lot of statistics. I mean, I don't want to boil it down and say, oh, it's just statistic, but isn't it like you said, seeing what's right and wrong and drawing a line between and trying to come as close to the real data point, so to speak?
yeah. I mean, a lot of machine learning starts with these types of models and statistics. So, that type is quite often called linear regression. So you're trying to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
the kind of line of best fit through some data. So, obviously, data science is all over machine learning, or machine learning is all over data science. And
mm-hmm.
for obvious reasons, is if you've got to try and find best fits of things, then computers can, see patterns better than we can in a quick period of time like that. And also the it's weird to say computers are thinking, because they're not really thinking, but they can see things and in multi dimensions, or spot things better than we can, and make models that are more accurate. It's very difficult for us to go past 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions. Like, our heads want to explode. But dealing with all of those different parameters, it can find solutions that we might not necessarily be able to find. So I think that a lot of those courses start with a lot of data science and statistics, because these are common problems and they're easy to comprehend to begin with. But the applications of it will always involve statistics, but the applications of it could be far and wide, from things like autonomous cars to this tiny little niche that I'm living in with trying to make better audio effects models.